So YouTube has decided to double down on what is possibly their most unpopular decision to date, removing the dislike button from the platform. Well, gimping its functionality by having the dislike count no longer be public. So Susan Wojcicki, the CEO of YouTube, is also in favor of the dislike button's removal. She spoke out recently about the supposed benefits of its removal in this video, our 2022 priorities. So let's go ahead and listen to what she had to say.
We also heard from many of you about the removal of the public dislike count on YouTube, and I know that this decision was controversial. Some of you mentioned dislikes helped you decide what videos to watch, but dislikes were never shown to people on the homepage, search results, up next screens, where users were most likely to choose a video. People dislike videos for many reasons, including some that have nothing to do with the video, which means that it's not always an accurate way to select which videos to watch. We also saw the dislike count harming parts of our ecosystem through dislike attacks, as people actively work to drive up the number of dislikes on a creator's video. And these dislike attacks often targeted smaller creators and those just getting started. So we experimented with removing the dislike counts across millions of videos over many months. And every way we looked at it, we did not see a meaningful difference in viewership, regardless of whether or not there was a public dislike count.
You hear that, Shuds? All of you saying that I need my dislike count to decide what videos I'm gonna watch are just lying, because you can't even see how many likes or dislikes a video has until you actually click on it. Checkmate, Chuds. Well, actually, Susan, here's the thing. Simply clicking on a video doesn't necessarily mean you're actually going to watch it. I mean, I clicked on this video and I didn't really watch it. I basically just scrolled through to your segment to talk about the dislike button getting removed. But people might click on a video and then click off of it because they think it looks dumb, or maybe the audio is all messed up. There's probably an endless number of reasons why someone would choose not to watch a video the whole way through. And if you really want to get technical, the YouTube platform itself doesn't even count just clicking on a video as a view. You actually have to watch the video for some arbitrary amount of time. And I also think if you're watching it from an IP address that belongs to something like a Tor exit node or maybe certain proxies, then YouTube still won't count that as a view anyway, even if you watch it the whole way through. And the reason for that is to avoid people using bots to watch their videos, to inflate the views, and then make the video get even more traction. And there's one particular genre of videos where the like to dislike ratio is actually a very important factor in determining whether or not you'd watch the video. That's the DIY and tutorial videos on YouTube. So I actually watch a lot of these videos because I'm that kind of guy that tries to fix stuff whenever it breaks, instead of calling someone to fix it for me. I wouldn't really say that I'm a handyman, obviously not, since I'm getting advice to fix things from YouTube videos. But one of the first things that I look at, and I suspect a lot of other people do this as well, is I look at the like to dislike ratio. And if it's something like less than 75% likes, then that tells me that something is probably up. Something about this video is probably incorrect. And then the secondary metric that I go and look at is the comments, which isn't always a very good metric, and I'll get in more to that in a minute. But take this video as an example. So this is a real-world example of a video that I looked up to fix my microwave. I had to replace some of the interlock switches, and now it runs fine. But one of the first steps was to discharge the capacitor so that you don't get electrocuted when working on it. Now, there's a few things that are wrong with this video. First of all, the guy is going to discharge it with pliers, which isn't the best or safest way to do it. That's kind of the quick and dirty method. And I don't even think the pliers that he was using had a rubber grip, and he's not using rubber gloves. So this video, which actually comes up first when you search how to discharge a high voltage capacitor, it should really be called how to electrocute yourself at home with a small appliance. Now, luckily for this guy, the capacitor was already discharged, and I'm pretty sure of that because there was no spark when he went and tried to short it out with the pliers. But judging by just the amount of views that this video got, it's over 100,000, and the fact that this is not the kind of video that people just look at for fun, like a good portion of people who looked up this video probably had a high voltage capacitor that they had to discharge, I would imagine that at least one person has electrocuted themselves by following the instructions in this video. Now, some people might say, oh, you don't need a dislike count to figure out if the video is bad or incorrect. You could just look at the comments. But the problem with that is comments can be deleted for a whole bunch of different reasons. In fact, a lot of comments that are pointing out a screw up that somebody made in their video will likely get automatically deleted by YouTube depending on the language that the person used, because it could be considered bullying. Even if you say things like just calling someone stupid or calling them an idiot, YouTube's AI is probably going to shadow ban that comment, so nobody else is actually going to be able to see it. And of course, if the content creator themselves has a fragile ego, they could always just delete your comment as well. But they can't remove your dislikes from a video without just hiding the like and dislike count. Well, I mean, YouTube, they went ahead and already hid the dislikes for everyone, of course, but back in the good old days, completely disabling the ratings on your video was the only option, and generally, that's a red flag for me. If somebody disables the ratings on their video, that tells me that their video sucks and it isn't worth watching, especially if it's a DIY video that I'm trying to learn something from. And as far as the whole removing dislikes to stop dislike attacks on somebody's videos or to try and stop smaller creators from getting bullied by a whole bunch of dislikes. I mean, for one, the content creators can still see the dislikes on their videos. So if someone feels bad by pixels on a screen, by a number of thumbs down next to a video, then this update really hasn't fixed that anyway. But in terms of harming a smaller channel with dislike attacks, I don't even think that that's really something that you can do. I mean, for one, if people are clicking on a video to dislike it, there's a chance that that's going to create more views on the video. Like I said, it's a little bit more arbitrary than that, than just clicking on a video for it to count as a view. But some of those are going to count, and that seems to be much more effective in stimulating the algorithm, is actually getting a whole bunch of views on a video, and then it just snowballs from there. I don't think dislikes actually affect the algorithm very much. I've seen lots of videos that have a whole lot of views and they also have a whole lot of dislikes. So in terms of harming the creator, at least financially, no, I don't think that that's the case, because how much you get paid on YouTube is determined by your views multiplied by your RPM. So you could just put out trash content on YouTube that people hate and you can still make a killing. I mean, just look at Nikado Avocado. His videos get tons of dislikes, but this kid is making bank on social media. And as far as the bullying part, honestly, that just comes with the territory. If you put yourself out there and you do a thing on the internet, there's going to be people who criticize you. I know it sucks, but that's just the reality of the world. There's going to be people that try to bully you and make you feel bad. That's just reality. Nobody's forcing you to be a celebrity on the internet. It's a decision that you made. And that's one of the job requirements, is being able to handle that criticism and handling that bullying. It's just like if you wanted to work in a warehouse, you got to be able to lift what, like 50 pounds? And then if you can't, then you got to go find a different job to work. You are literally not fit enough to do that job. In a way, being an e-celeb is like selling your mental health. If you don't have a whole lot of it to begin with, then don't even try, because the success will literally ruin your life. So I still don't believe YouTube's reasons for removing the dislike count. Honestly, I think it's more about removing dislikes on certain political videos, and of course, videos like this one, because some of the worst ratios that I've seen on YouTube videos the past couple of years are things like YouTube Rewind, and of course, this video that Susan just put out. So, Susan, if your ego is so fragile that you can't handle the internet seeing how many people dislike your content, then just don't post videos. You aren't very good at making them anyway.